Good evening, everybody. It's bleak here in Spain. It's rather chilly. I've had to roll my sleeves down at times. I'm still wearing long trousers, I'm afraid.
It's not that cold. You've been a crybaby.
It's been down. It's been below 15 degrees. And my friend out in the in Arabia there, where is it? Dubai somewhere. He said it's quite chilly there too. It's 31 degrees or 32, and he's been barbecuing in the desert. If you're watching, Lee, I'm really jealous. How's things with you? What have you been up to?
I made a video today.
So did I.
Have you watched it?
Yes.
Don't lie, I bet you haven't.
No, I haven't.
You never watch my videos, do you?
I do.
No, you don't.
I hear her making them. I have to
don't
keep
watch
quiet.
yours either.
I have to keep quiet. Then she's making
You
them.
say that, I have to keep quiet sometimes. That's why some videos I talk really low, because I can hear you filming on the flight sim, and I don't want my voice coming out on your flight sim. So
It won't. It won't.
we've been talking about the line of succession today on my channel.
Oh, I see.
And the big talk of the town is this thing called councillors of state,
Right, yeah.
which was invented in 1937, I think, 1937 Regent Act. And because there's been so much talk about councillors of state, I think people misunderstand and don't realise that a regent is a completely different thing. In your understanding, you're British, I think you've got a good grasp of it. What's a regent?
I have. Well, if, for example, the king or the monarch is unfit to be the monarch because they've gone mad, or for whatever reason they may be in a coma, they may have an issue going down. It's a bit like the vice president of America, you know.
Yeah.
The president is unavailable to be president for some reason. It's usually a medical reason. Then the vice president steps in, and in the case of the royal family, it would be the next in line to the throne would step in, and for all intensive purposes is the king, but not called the king. They're called
Or queen.
regents. Yeah. And we did have a case of this where King George III went mad, and he was just gaga, and nobody could get any sense out of him. So his son stepped in, and he became the Prince Regent, which meant that he was the king pretty much.
Yeah.
He was the vice president. He was doing all the jobs of the king, okay, but without being the king. And of course, when the king finally died, he became king then, but not until. It was the regency. Just means like the vice president, the next in line steps in and takes over all the roles of the monarch without being the monarch, but they are, for all intensive purposes, the monarch while they're regent.
Yeah.
Because that's what it means, the regent.
Which is completely different to councillors of state.
Yes,
Because everybody's talking councillors of state. I have been replying to so many comments saying a regent is not a council. It's a different thing. They're different things. I've just given up. I've given up. There's so many people saying, oh, Princess Anne, Prince Edward, that's all nonsense. That's nonsense. That's nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
The case I'm talking about is a minor needing a regent. Any minor.
Yeah, that's another thing. You see, if imagine if Prince William was king now, and he dropped dead of a heart attack or something, who's next in line for the throne? So you look around, he's got 3 kids, but none of them are old enough to be king. So someone else
Or queen.
has to, or
You
queen.
keep saying king. You never say queen. And
Well,
we've
that's
just
what
come
I
out-
meant. Everybody knows I meant that.
We've just
So-
got one of the longest reigns.
You're interrupting me. I'm telling them something, right? So because they're not old enough to be king, someone else has to step in and be regent. You see, and in this case, it's Harry, isn't it? Harry would be regent until the oldest child, or whichever one makes it to 21 first, or 18. And there was a case of this back in British history, was Richard III, because his nephews were supposed to be king, but they were too young, so he became regent. I'm regent. Don't worry, I'll look after the 2 boys until they're old enough. But they went missing, and no one knows what happened to them, and he became king, Richard III. And they did find some skeletons buried under the staircase many years later. And they think there's a rumour that evil King Richard had his nephews done in.
I'd be careful with that one. There's a lot of King Richard III
Richard
fans out there.
III. Richard III.
There are lots of Richard III
One
fans.
with the bent spine.
You will be eaten alive. I've trodden on this landmine before.
And he was killed at the Battle of Bosworth Field by
Henry Tudor VII.
Henry Tudor, who became Henry VII. He lopped his head off. My horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his head chopped off, and that was the end of him. And he got buried in a car park in Leicester. Until recently, when they found him.
Like I say, Graham, you will be astonished in the comments how many fans of Richard III there are. You'll find out to your peril, because innocent till proved guilty. There's a lot of you
I
pointing
only
out.
know what I've read in books and seen on television.
Well, you obviously haven't read that many books, because I have.
I haven't got time to read books, for goodness sake. Books is what people did in the Victorian days.
Graham, you will see there are people who have studied this subject.
Loads of people
in
go,
so
I
much
read books.
depth.
I know, I'm only teasing you. Stop it, calm down.
I was very, very proud of them. And they spoke up for Richard III, and I had no idea or knowledge about it at all. So it must be infuriating for people who do study the subject, and then they hear certain stories
Fools
trotted out
like
and
me.
regurgitated.
Well, you see, there is a train of thought going to Elizabeth I and Shakespeare and people like that they painted the evil Plantagenets as baddies, and so because they'd taken over by force, they'd kicked the door, killed the king, and taken over on the grounds that they were the hardest, and what are you going to do about it? So they were sort of trying to legitimise their claim to the throne, because they had no claim to the throne. They just took it by force. And so that there is an angle there, yes, I do accept that one.
I would suggest that the Tudors were living in a great big glass castle.
Maybe the two boys died of
accusations.
natural causes in the night and got buried beneath the staircase without a funeral.
I guess it's one of those mysteries that we haven't got to the bottom of yet. But someone in my comments said that the next in line would be Princess Charlotte. And what I'm trying to explain is a regent has to be 21 years old. The next in line who is 21 or older, and that is the Duke of Sussex, as things stand at the moment. And then if he isn't, the next one is Andrew, and then... Actually, no, somebody pointed out, because of this new 2013 thing where women don't get skipped, Anne, because she's the next oldest. As in, a really interesting comment someone made and did point out, and then it would be Edward, etc.
Would that act include Anne, though?
I don't know if...
Because she's not heir to the throne, is she?
It includes, it's as of Charlotte, but when it comes to Regent, I don't know. I mean, this is a legal minefield. This is what I mean. You get certain people saying on TV, this is the case, and they're talking about councillors of state. They're really simplifying a very complex piece of law. Also, with a regent, can you skip a regent easily? Because it would be like skipping a monarch. Like, don't like him, don't like her, they're not going to take the throne. It's not that simple.
Well, it would be down to Parliament. This is why we have parliaments and things, because Parliament would ponder and think, who are we going to make regent? Because it would have to be with the will of the Parliament as well.
Problem is,
and since Harry is so deeply despised, I can't see Harry ever being regent, even if he had the opportunity, which I don't think he will.
I think unsuitable and dangerous. That's how
He's
I
unsuitable,
disagree.
and his wife is definitely unwelcome.
Someone else in the comments said, oh, don't worry about it, Parliament will deal with it as and when it happens. Oh, fuck off. Excuse me swearing on your channel, but fuck off. When did Parliament do anything in a hurry? They take bloody years arguing the toss. By the time they get round to doing it, good God.
Depends who's in at the time. Sometimes, I mean, if Rory Stewart was in, we wouldn't have a problem. He'd go, simple, this is how it'll be done, bum, 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 bum. Whereas you've got faffers in there, like Johnson. I'll have another bottle of Champers Johnson. I'll think about it tomorrow. I mean, this is here today, gone tomorrow politicians. Some of them are useless, and others are really good. It just depends.
I don't know anything about UK politicians.
It's a flick of the coin, isn't it? Ding.
But what I do know is that Acts of Parliament are brought into a force precisely to deal with events that might happen in the future. That's the exact reason for them. and I can't think of a better time to clean it up. In fact, when Harry and Meghan left, the Queen said they had a 12-month period to make up their mind. And when that 12 months ran out, he should have been removed from the line of succession there and then. That should have happened right there and then.
Yeah, I mean, I think if King William was on the throne now and he died at this moment in time, his children are too young to become king. So they would have to have a regent to move in and say, well, I'll take over until that child is old enough to be king, and then once they reach 18. So, I mean, it would be a toss-up. They'd be looking at Andrew, they'd be looking at Edward, and they'd be looking at Harry, and I don't think Harry would be...
I don't think they'd necessarily have a choice. I think the law's the law.
I don't know.
It's like
that's an interesting question.
Queen Elizabeth died, and her eldest son and heir took the throne. Some people don't like Charles. It's not a question of, I don't like him, we'll move on to the next one. It doesn't work like that, and I'm not entirely sure it works like that for regents. But I did read somewhere there is a council of something that can reject a regent, but I can't remember where I read it. Can't remember. But I mean, it's an absolute minefield. I've been really diving into the Regency Acts, and there are many, and there are loads of loopholes in it. And I think it's something everyone should sharpen their focus on.
If Harry became a Catholic, I mean, he definitely wouldn't be allowed to be regent. Maybe he's been to Catholic school while he's been in Los Angeles. And
he was
maybe he's
in a cathedral
practicing Catholic with him and Meghan.
I don't think you'd get rid of him on that basis either.
It's worth a try.
I don't think so. What do you think, Pretty?
The
cat is alive.
She doesn't care. Look, she's there. Look.
She doesn't always sit on top of the sofa. Sometimes she comes to warm her little toes, don't you, in front of the fire. I love the way she spreads them as well. Just like that. Oh, kitty.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm sure William will have a very, very long reign.
Yes,
Indeed.
I'm sure.
He's very fit and healthy and switched on and clever, and I'm sure he'll be fine. Just fine.
Can you imagine Harry, though, as a regent? Or worse, on the throne. Can you imagine?
Be like John. Wasn't King John a regent while Richard the Lionheart was off fighting in the Crusades? John was there, wasn't he? I'll be regent while you're gone.
I'd be careful. I think you'll find King John has his fans in the comments
and
as
didn't
well.
his crown fall off in the River Dee?
Yes,
didn't he lose the crown jewels in the river? And he was like devastated. Oh no, I've lost the crown jewel. My crown's fallen off. John. Yeah, there hasn't been any more King Johns, has there? Just the one John. And before you ask, no, I haven't been drinking. No, not yet. I'm going to start soon though. It's going dark. And I'm going to have a little tipple. Is that it, darling? Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Sorry, I was just putting another lasagna in the oven.
Lasagna in the oven. Yes. So that was it. Did you want to add anything about Harry's amazing legend award for being a legend?
No.
An aviation legend? No?
No. I think everybody knows.
I did a piss take on that one, and it's obvious what I think of that one from my earlier video. And
all I will say is he didn't look happy to me. Oh, did you see that fella that was there with him? Max. Oh, what's he called now? He's like a pretend aristo. Oh, and he was there doing selfies with Harry.
was it?
Lippe is the family name. I can't think what the name is now. But he's called Mario Max, that's it. And he says he's a count or something, but the actual Aristo family are like, oh my God, don't have anything to do with that guy. He keeps saying he's something to do with us, and he's nothing to do with us, and I wish he'd stop saying it. But I think he's quite eccentric and a lot of fun. He wears very flamboyant things, and he wears something from his neck that looks a lot like the George Cross.
How did you get away with that, though? I mean, if I said, I'm Graham the Baron Windsor Mountbatten, and that lot are related to me, I mean, I'd never get away with it. I'd be booed and egged.
You should have like a little... I'll show you a picture of him when we finish filming this. It's lovely. He has like a cravat and a really nice white sort of silk collar on a black jacket, and he has this kind of George Cross thing hanging. It's fabulous. I think he's awesome. Fuck it, why not? Everybody should just make up a title.
That cross thing that they wear, isn't that from the St John's ambulance? Something to do with the Knights of St John or something?
This fella's German or...
I've paid my subscription to St John's ambulance, so therefore I'm going to wear the cross, look.
Dutch or something. He seems very sweet, and he's a porn star or something as well. just to colour it up a bit. I think it's hilarious. Anyway,
Is there such a thing of the Knights of St John's Ambulance?
yes, there is. We went to see the room.
Well, I know there's a thing called St John's Ambulance, but is there an order? Is it an order? Can you
The
join?
Knights Hospitaller.
Do you have to pay? I mean, is it an award that you can pay for? Like Harry?
Hey, I paid a fortune for my cardboard one.
Someone said, which cardboard one?
No, you really don't watch
Oh,
my
I
videos.
did watch that video.
See,
Yes,
he
I
does
did.
not watch my videos.
She
You
did.
expect me to watch.
She did. She
He's
wrote
always
it out
saying,
on the bottom.
go and watch my
yeah,
video.
yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. In
I-
fact, I'm going to unsubscribe because you're spamming my feed with your 1 minute videos every day.
No, I've got 3 channels. I've got my shooting
I know,
channel.
and I appear to be
And my
subscribed
flying
to
channel.
all 3. I don't know how that happened.
Because I logged into your account and subscribed you.
Anyway, that's me done. Good night.
I'm going to unsubscribe her for that.
And
Traitor.
Block me.
I'm going to
trying
block you. Good night, and may your God go with you.